It's Monday morning. What's this, the 3rd of August? Overcast day, we got some rain heading our way. I was able to water the plants this morning with the Terp Tea, the Bloom formula. I want to begin that process because we are now beginning the early stages of regenerative growth. Regenerative means flowering, which means buds, baby buds. It's all about the buds. And I know what you're thinking. I'll never forget. The year was 1987. Jeff, the rock star from Colorado that gave me the leg up to show me how to start out growing some weed, because he said everybody grows weed where I come from. I'm like, really? Shut up. Let's do this. And here it is some many, many years later. Oh man, time flies when you're having a good time. Anyways, I was thinking to myself, well, how much weed am I going to get out of this first grow? And I know I got to give half to Jeff, and I'm calculating I'm smoking an ounce a week. And of course, it was $40 ounces back then, and it was half lumber and half seed. But I'm like, okay, how much am I going to get out of this? Well, let's talk about that, because I know you're thinking what I'm thinking. I hope I get a shit ton out of this one plant, because I'm going to need it to get me through the winter. Because in Croptober, I'm preparing to be able to get through the winter times and have my own supply and maybe share some with some friends. And you know the vibes, my friend. Let's dive into it. So this, you can see the structure of this one really is, I love it, because it's got a stretchy effect. It's got a sativa lean to it. The sativas have a tendency to have a slower growth cycle, more stretchy, more air. So you have a lot of airflow. You can see it's windy today. The plants are dancing. Oh, I love when I see them dancing. When they're dancing, they're breathing. When they're breathing, they're absorbing some nutrition. That means the transpiration that starts at the root zone is starting to come up and get into the plant. Right now, the sun's been up for, well, not sun up because it's overcast, but the light has started probably about an hour and a half ago. And at about a 2-hour mark after the lights come on, or light, you know, the plant wakes up, it begins the transpiration. It starts to take up the moisture. It brings it up through the cellulose and out through the stomata. The stomata is the pores underneath the leaves. This is how they breathe. They let out oxygen, some moisture, and we give them some carbon dioxide. We breathe. That carbon dioxide is drawn in as a food source. It's a carbon source. But let's talk about manipulation of the plant for maximum yield, because that's the deal. Right now you can see we're doing LST, low stress training. We have stakes going in at an angle. We're pulling the main branches out. We're opening up the inner canopy so we have more light exposure, which is super beneficial. All right, now also yesterday I did a lot of thinning. You're gonna see some piles over there. That's just some piles. That's gonna get mowed into the lawn, so that's gonna get composted right in. That nutrition will right go back to my lawn. Now, the other thing I did is I thinned a lot of them. We did the early lollipopping or skirting. We bring up that lower growth. We clean that up so we have a lot of airflow. So this plant was really, really thick. I'll get to that one in a minute, but let's talk about the early manipulations. All right, I'm gonna show this one as an example, because this is I left several branches that I did not manipulate because I wanted to use it as an educational series. Growing in the city, baby. It's called Growing in the City at the City Grown Studios. So looking at this particular stem, okay, the stem comes up, and you can see that these little buds inside here will stay underneath the canopy, and they'll start to thicken up, and I'll have one nice bud. Cool, that's awesome. Now at the top, you can see it's where the now time is happening. Oh, here's another fun fact. As the plant reverts, the leaf count drops down. So right now we have, let's see, 3, 5, we have a 7 leaf count right here. Let me just tilt this down so you can see it. That's a 7 leaf. And then as it starts to revert, it'll go to 5 leaf, and then 3 leaf, and then down to single leaf. But that's gonna be up somewhere probably up in this height here. You'll see that later in probably about 4 weeks from now. You're gonna see them up here, but it'll be just one cola, which is cool. That's awesome. I'll probably get, you know, a 1/4 of an ounce maybe from it. If I'm really lucky, an ounce. That's stretching it though. It's probably more like a 1/4 of an ounce will come from that nice bud. But if you wanted to manipulate it a little bit, let's move just over to its neighbor right here. And you're gonna see where I did a little manipulation. It's a gentle topping or more of a pinching. And I'm gonna zoom in so you can see it. All right, you see that little stump right there? Yeah, that little stump is where I topped it. And that top is similar to where I'd get in here and I would just cut this top section right off. Boom. And now the plant has to repair itself. And so what happens is it starts to send hormones for repair, and at the same time, because it stalls right there, you can see now I have 2 definitive tops coming off of this. Take a look. Yeah, the V. I love to see the V. That means I've just increased my yield. Now the other factor, because of doing that, is now the lateral growth has had a chance to catch up. You can see all the lateral growths are coming up. These are all going to be tops. These are going to be buds. So as the wind slows down, love the wind. Say hello, wave to the wind. This is the other thing about wind. If you're getting heavy winds, this is an opportunity to find out if you tied up good enough or not, or if you're going to fix them. So I might come out to broken branches if we get heavy winds. So I'm hoping that I've done a decent job. I'm going through this morning, I'm adding extra stakes, and I'm doing more tie-offs to keep them from potentially snapping. All right, so, but you can see the structure here. You have these branches like a Christmas tree coming out. These will all be tops. These will be nice buds. So by doing that manipulation, instead of just getting this one solid bud with everything stuck in, these nodes, if I had done that, these nodes inside here would have done similar to this. They'd grow out like that. So look, that one was topped, this one was not. No topping, no topping, no topping, no topping. Now, oh, wait a minute, this one is part of this. This was topped, you can see right in there. You see that pinch point right there? Okay, so now you can see that I have all this push out lateral growth. Same with that one, same with that one. All right, this one, no topping. So this is really shows you, this stuff all stays underneath. But when you top it, like here's one right here. Okay, there's the top. Let me just get this camera angle. Now you can see the lateral growth is coming up, and this is splitting into 2. That tiny little manipulation and timing of that is super important for better yields. Just that alone. If I only had 1 plant to grow, man, I'm looking to get at least a half a pound off this sucker. Maybe a pound. A pound would be really cool. But hey, a half a pound to get you through the winter, you can be conservative, right? And then here's another one. We LST'd this main branch. We pulled it down onto this. We did a tie off. Show you right here. We did a tie off right here. Okay. Now, because we did that, the nodes that would be down, way down underneath are now exposed and growing up. You can see all these branches are coming up. And we'll wait for the wind to say I'm all done. All right, so you can see all these branches are coming up. These will all be tops. Now this one, I did not top it. I left it here for example of LST, which is gonna give me a similar effect where I've got these growing up. Now these little nodes in here, if I had topped, they would have pushed out just like this one did. And then I would probably have 2 tops here, not a single top. But again, learning how to manipulate it properly. Now it doesn't mean every one is gonna do exactly this. Let me show you the one next to it over here. All right, so in this one, we did the same thing in certain ones. Like this one was not topped. You can see it's just gonna be a single cola. I will have to thin it out later on down lower because that'll become a problem area. I wanna have lots of flow, and I don't wanna have to deal with little tiny larvae buds at the bottom that I'm gonna have to try to trim or turn into something else like extract or butters and stuff like that. Now here, let's see the pinch point. There it is right there. Let me zoom in for you guys. All right, you can see that nub right there. That dark nub is where we pinched it. And by doing so, I'm starting to get multiple tops up here. All right, so you got this split off, and then the lateral growth is starting to come up. So the lateral growth is coming up, but it's a very dense plant. So this one needs to be pulled out, but you gotta be careful because I can feel it on the main stem. So again, several of them I pinched. This one here is a pinch. You can see that right there. And again, by doing that, I'm getting the double the top. All right, so I'm increasing yield, but the structure behind me, the other one was wild. It just looks like Christmas trees every time I do it. Here's one there. Okay, that little pinch right there, and we have 2 tops right here. Doom. Those little tiny manipulations will pay off handsomely. Now let's see, on this one here, I did not do any topping. The reason I didn't do any topping on this particular one here is you can see it's very thick, but I went through this and I thinned it out aggressively yesterday, as you can see underneath. Very clean, I cleaned up a lot because this was very thick, very dense inside. And by leaving it that way, what's gonna happen is it's gonna have a hard time with airflow. And later on, when this really thickens up during the flowering cycles, which is starting now, and over the next 2 weeks, we'll get our what's called a stretch period. You'll see these things start to take off. So, you know, these plants do get moved around a little bit, but you'll notice by the stakes, what are we getting for growth, right? So this one is right here. This will most likely end up at the top here or maybe a little bit above it. We'll see how it likes to stretch during stretch period. But the reason I did not top these, because of the look of the structure, like topping is not going to help me because it's going to push out more lateral growth. I don't want that. I want a little bit more vertical growth like this one here. They're starting to go up. I'm going to have to adjust this one and tie it off a little bit over to this stake. This one is going to need to be tied off to this one again because they're going to follow up. And when they go up, we have challenges if they're not tied off. Like, let's show you this one over here. This little beanstalk decided to start really taking off, and I'm like, okay, I need a taller stake, so I just doubled up a 6-footer. When you use 6-footers, you're saving money. If you use you buy the 8-footers, they're only good for the center, and they're huge, and they're more expensive. You can buy 6-footers for a lot less. Buy bamboo because it's sustainable, it's renewable, and it's cheaper. And just put two together and just wire tie them or zip tie them together. You can see right down there. I wire tied it together with some twist tie. And now I have a nice, that's probably about 10 feet up there, because I know my hand's 8 at the tip. So I have, this is gonna follow up. This is gonna be one long stem going up, and I'm gonna have to tie off to hold it together. Now you can see the regenerative cycle that's starting. You see the pistils, the little white hairs, the bracts are forming. You can see them in there. There's a little bract right there. That bract is formed, and that wants to grow a seed if it gets pollinated, but it's not going to happen, hopefully, unless we get a plant that stresses. If you have a plant that stresses out or was never stabilized to start with, which can happen, unfortunately, there's some pollen chuckers out there that like to say they're breeders, and they don't stabilize their line. They just push it out there and everybody pays for it. And then unfortunately, sometimes you can get a hermaphrodite in there and you could pollinate your entire grow, and all of a sudden you're like, what the fuck? I got seeds throughout everything. How do I pass that off? That's not going to be easy. So you can see the regenerative here. There we go. There's the white hairs right in the center there. All right, so now here's another fun fact for you and a good tip. If you've been following along the series, I'm going to clarify this because it seems to come up in the comments sometimes. People don't realize these are not my plants. These are not mine. They're somebody else's. They started them. They had problems or challenges. I said, I'll help you out. So this group is one grower that started, and another group is from a project. Another group is from another grower that said I had extras. So they're not the genetics that I would specifically choose for outdoor growing. These are all hybrids. Now, some of them will do very well outside because of technique and understanding and sprays that I'm going to use to protect them from molds and bugs and stuff like that, and a lot of care and love. But some of them just should not be outside because they were never developed for outdoor growth, especially in the atmosphere that I'm in. This is New England. Today is going to be an overcast, cloudy, rainy day. So they're going to get soaked, and then we're going to have a nice, hot, steamy day, and then it'll be a cold night. So we have all this fluctuation in weather, storms that come through, all sorts of challenges. So what I'm saying is these are not mine. I'm caretaking for others, all right? So that's part of it. And the size of them is based upon when they came to me. It's not like I heard comments like, oh, my plants are a lot bigger than yours. Good for you. You're a fucking miracle worker. Unbelievable. Man, let's put up a monument uptown for you. Fuck off. You're better than everybody else. This is about sharing information and knowledge and understanding and some entertainment at the same time, right? If you're not stimulated by what you're watching, you do what? Boom. Thumb it, baby. Flick it, flick it. What else is there? And within like 1 second, you know if you want to look at it. Flip, flip, flip. Oh, boobies. Stop. Just kidding. Having fun. Anyway, so back to the subject matter, leaking of exudates. All right, during the vegetative cycle, the plant will leak some of its energy. If you're growing in soils, if you're growing in cocoa, it's a different style. It's It's a ionic exchange. Cation exchange is another word for it. Basically, if you're running in a cocoa, you're hydroponically growing, and the plant is absorbing the minerals when it needs it. It doesn't need the relationship in the soils like we do, where we need life in the soil. We need microorganisms, bacteria, fungi, mycelium. All these living organisms help the plant to feed, and because they're breaking down organic matter, and when they decay, they become humus, and then all of a sudden the plant's taking that up as a food source. Boom. Or their waste becomes a food source. Boom. Thank you. Or they become waste. But what's happening is the plant will leak some of its sugars, carbohydrates, through the roots to attract that microorganism to help it feed. And now that it's going into regenerative, what's happening over the next 2 weeks is the plant is going to take and keep that energy. See, the plant goes, hey guys, I love you and everything, and I'd love to keep feeding you, but guess what? I'm trying to grow these seeds, yeah, and I got to put resin on to protect the seeds. Yep, I got to protect it from bugs, got to protect it from the UV light. So I'm going to thicken up with some resins. Those resins are calendula trichomes, and they're designed to protect me and the plant from the bugs and the sunlight. Oh, so what are you saying to me? Well, I'm saying I'm going to have to keep all my energy. So I'm not going to be able to feed you guys. Joey D steps in and says, don't you worry, I'm going to make sure you get fed. And I'm going to bring some fresh workers to the job site to help you out. Don't you worry. I got your back. So understanding that the exudate change happens during the regenerative process where the plant is going to keep the energy. It'll gladly take energy and resources if it's available, but it's not going to give any more of its life force. It's going to begin slowly transitioning, keeping all that energy because it needs it to regenerate. Because what the plant in nature is trying to do is open pollination, make some seeds, drop down, and next year's some of those seeds are going to germinate and grow up again like a phoenix. It dies and it grows from the ashes. So that's what these plants are doing. Sometimes when they hermaphrodite, it's because the plant detects a lot of stress in its environment, and it's basically its mechanism for regenerative to make sure that it survives. And this is kind of my theory here, and I know there's a lot of OGs out there that have the same theory because they've lived through it, is that cannabis finds you. It finds you because it knows that you'll want to service it, because it's going to service you. So energy in equals energy out. If I give it energy and time, like right now, I'm putting my time and my energy, I'm giving it parts of my life force, okay? Here's a deep subject for you. There was a scientist in Japan. I don't know the exact name of the scientist. You can Google it and find it yourself if you're interested. But he determined that and discovered that water retains memory. Wow, that's weird. Water retains memory, especially saline, salt water. The oceans, imagine that. Imagine if the oceans were a giant storage of data. That could be, maybe. You're basically saline. You're 70%, 70 something percent water, right? Saline, salt water, like the oceans. The plant is more than 70% water in its interstitial space of the leaf, which is the moisture in the centers and through the cellulose. This is 70% water. Oh, so I'm water, it's water, and my energetic signature can deposit on that. That's called your toroidal field. You have an energetic field around you. It emanates from your heart, by the way. Oh yeah, this is real, man. I know you're going like, what the fuck, this guy's, he's going all guru on us. I'm giving you facts of life, my friend. You have an energy signature, and it's a toroidal field. Google that. Google toroidal field or torus. A torus field. It's an energetic field around you. It's like magnets. You don't see the magnetic field until you see the metal filings around that magnet and they circle. So a toroidal field is like an apple. It circulates, and you can expand that energy field or contract an energy field. It starts from your heart, my friend. And what I'm telling you now is this, and some of you will believe this and some of you don't give a shit. You'll fucking thumb on. Cool, it's all right. But what I'm trying to say to you is that that's why you can detect sometimes people in your energy field are not good. They're negative, and you don't want them around because they don't feel comfortable. And then other times you go to a place and all of a sudden crowds of people show up. Wonder why that is. Because you attract them. It's your energetic field. They know who you are. They're your tribe. Cannabis finds you because of that energetic signature that you're emanating, all right? And what I'm saying is if you're pissed off and angry and always negative and commenting negative and all that bullshit, you're a negative entity. You're negative energy. You're looking for more. Misery loves company. Take out the leaves that are having issues and just say goodbye. All right, so here's an example for you. And I'll get back to the energy field in a second. But the yellowing is basically the chlorophyll. The green is the chlorophyll through photosynthesis, right? As the plant needs it, it starts to draw it back. And it starts to take that stored energy because it needs it. So this is learning how to read your plant to say, what's going on with my plant? Why, if there was a lot of these, then I would say that's an issue. Some of these are from the past, from when I first got these plants. They're older leaves, not from me. But again, I just take the damaged leaves right off. Just get rid of them. Take a look. Now this one looks like a potassium deficiency possibly. So you can always look online and look at a chart. There's charts that'll show you like, hey, we think it's this, or it's potassium, or is it variegation? No, it's not variegation, because if it was variegation, I'd see it throughout the plant. And some of you think the variegation is, mosaic or tobacco mosaic virus, and it doesn't transition over to cannabis, by the way. We've validated that with Toomey Genomics. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 leaf. So I don't think it's variegation. I think it's deficiencies. But today we watered in the terp teas, which is going to be a lot of phosphorus, because as your plant is regenerative, building buds, it's looking for a lot more phosphorus right now and less nitrogen. It still needs a little nitrogen, but you want to give it a little less nitrogen now and more phosphorus. So that's why I brewed the tea, and I'll brew another one probably next week, and I'll feed it again. And then I'll start transitioning how I'm feeding the plant. I'll probably feed one more feed with the free stuff that I got, because free is for me, baby. And they'll drink it. But now I'm going to start adding more phosphorus as I did today. So that all got watered in. But back to the energetic field. If you go into your grow room pissed off, angry, try to reset yourself. Try to think that, hey, that movie that I went through today, boy, it sucked. And you know what the good news is I got the clicker. I can change the channel, just like flipping with your thumb. If it doesn't stimulate you or entertain you, you flick, you go to the next thing that entertains you. Life is the same way, by the way. You can click the clicker and change the channel by the actions you take today and the dominant thoughts that you have. So think about it. If you're out doom and gloom and that's why I don't spend a lot of time on Facebook. It's nothing but a fucking bitch session. Fucking old fucking cuckers are all there bitching about this ailment, that ailment, life sucks, the politicians, fuck you. They're fucking professional mouthpieces. They're criminals. That's all. It's gonna go away though, because blockchain is gonna fix that. Did you know that the U.S. Post Office holds the patent for voting through blockchain? Yeah, they're already preparing for it. Once that happens, you're going to be able to remove all these installed criminals, because they're all installed. But don't get me down that political, because I don't like going there, because it usually gets me pissed off because of how we've been treated, right? We've been separated. But the sacred plant bridges the divide, brings us together, whether we're sharing the smoke or the herbs or the edibles or just the experience. And I got a lot of grower friends that grow amazing cannabis, but they don't smoke it. They don't consume it. But they absolutely love working with the plant. And I get that. It's not for everybody. The drug itself, which is the resins, the glandular trichomes, that is the drug. And it serves some people for some parts of their life and some others. I used to be a heavy smoker as a young guy. But then I started to cut back, and then I started just vaporizing my flower in a very, very low dose. I like an edible before bed so I can sleep through the night and not have to wake up and piss 3 times and have disrupted sleep, that sort of thing. So it is a miraculous natural medicine. It's one of many, many, many out there. But anyways, guys, I got deep on the insights of life with you guys. Hopefully you got a couple of nuggets of gold and you're entertained. And as always, that's right, we hope that those resins bless your bowl today. You live in peace, happiness, and that at some point you'll have the ability to teach somebody else, pay it forward, how to grow some herbs. And that's it, guys. Gotta go. See you.